Take two. Hey everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3 back here with another video, and welcome to my August pay-per-view review. For the month of August, I am doing WWE Summerslam 2013. Took place at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, August 18th, 2013. Well, this show was a roller coaster. Would I say it was one of the better SummerSlams of the 2010s? Yes. It was more of a three-match show, but there was some good stuff on the show nonetheless. We begin the show off by The Miz coming out, because he's the host of SummerSlam. Yeah, The Miz is hosting SummerSlam, and he's giving us the opening address. Then Fandango and Summer Rae come out, they begin dancing, and The Miz is like, well, welcome to SummerSlam. Opening contest, we have the debut of Bray Wyatt, who recently just got released from WWE, defeating Kane, who recently got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, class of 2021, in a Ring of Fire match. That's right, the ring is surrounded by fire, like an Inferno match, except instead of setting your opponent on fire, you win via pinfall or submission. That's the only way you win. There's no disqualifications and no countouts. And yes, the Wyatt family had just debuted by this time period. By this time period, the Wyatts had just debuted on the main roster from NXT. I mean, okay, so Bray Wyatt gets the victory, hits the Sister Abigail after Harper and Rowan managed to get themselves involved. This really was nothing more to be said about this match. I really wish it could have been more like an Inferno match, but hell, we can't have people get set on fire because we gotta keep it PG. But why even have the Ring of Fire match even be a thing? Next up, we get the Rhodes Scholars No More, as Cody Rhodes defeats his former partner, Damien Sandow. So, Damien Sandow had turned on Cody Rhodes back at Money in the Bank, during the SmackDown's Money in the Bank for the World Heavyweight Championship. Since the World Heavyweight Championship was exclusive to SmackDown, Sandow turned on his partner, Cody Rhodes, and won the briefcase. Cody then stole the briefcase from Sandow and threw it in the Gulf of Mexico. Sandow comes out first, and he's dissing Cody's family. He's saying Dumb and Dumber about Cody's brother and father. Then Cody ends up beating Sandow to get the victory. I mean, okay, this match happened and Cody won. I mean, hell, Cody had better matches in his career anyway. And I really wish I wanted to care more about this feud, but WWE didn't seem to care about it. They really didn't. Next up, we get amongst one of the three best matches on the show, as Alberto Del Rio defeats Christian via submission to retain the World Heavyweight Championship. Wow, Alberto Del Rio, you were riding high in the early 2010s, but what happened? Oh, right. Your ass is now in jail. Your ass is now in prison. And all because of your whole domestic abuse thing you've done with Paige. And now, where's Christian? Well, he's in AEW now. He's in All Elite Wrestling, continuing his career, and he recently just became the #1 contender for Kenny Omega. Yeah, funny how fate works in mysterious ways. Kinda just like how that same thing happened with the Ring of Fire match I just talked about. That Bray Wyatt recently got released, and Kane got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Funny how it all works out like that. Next up, you get a backstage segment with Maria Menounos talking with The Miz, as The Miz is interviewing Maria Menounos about her beef with Brie Bella. After all, Brie did start the beef when Maria Menounos was congratulating Natalya and the rest of the cast of Total Divas, and Brie Bella, got a little bit jealous. And at the SummerSlam Access, there was a tag team match where Maria Menounos and Natalya beat Brie Bella and Eva Marie. Ugh. So, Maria Menounos explained the situation, and then Fandango and Summer Rae yet again did their thing. They're dancing in front of The Miz and Maria Menounos, and Maria Menounos and The Miz begin ballroom dancing with each other. Next up, we get our second of two great matches of our three great matches we got on our show. The second of three great matches on this show. We got CM Punk taking on Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman in a no disqualification match. It's the best in the world versus the Beast. And this match was awesome. This match between Lesnar and Punk was awesome. And it all stemmed from the fact that Paul Heyman had turned on CM Punk back at Money in the Bank. So yeah, Money in the Bank 2013. There was something in the water in Money in the Bank where we had two double cross angles on the same goddamn pay-per-view. Don't worry, I do plan to do Money in the Bank 2013 someday. Not today, but someday. So, Heyman said, without Paul Heyman, you, CM Punk, are not the best in the world. But then, enter Brock Lesnar, who came in to make things a little more unique. The angle started off so hot, and Lesnar being added to the story was really good, for the most part. Sadly, though, I really wish Lesnar would have continued to do more in this angle, because after he beat Punk at SummerSlam, we don't see Lesnar again until 2014. Yeah, until he put frickin' Mark Henry on the shelf on Raw. And then would end up having that match with the Big Show. Yeah, funny how things work out like that. And then Curtis Axel and Ryback came in and they were put in the angle, but I don't know. Axel and Ryback didn't have the same presence as Lesnar, the same stage presence. They weren't big guys or big stars. Yeah, they were big in size, but they weren't big star-wise. Next up, you get, oh boy, a filler match. After someone won our Doritos sweepstakes after he took a body splash from Mark Henry. As you got the winner of the SummerSlam sweepstakes at ringside for this next match, as Evan Bourne, now known as Matt Sydal in AEW, defeating Jack Swagger, who's also in AEW as Jake Hager. And this was not a great match at all. I mean, Evan Bourne beat Swagger a couple of weeks ago, I think, on SmackDown or Raw. This felt like a TV match at best. They should have just kept it as a SmackDown match or a Raw match. This wasn't a pay-per-view quality match. This match was not that great. So now we get our final Miz segment on the show before the main event. And then, right before the Miz could get into the talking about the main event, then Fandango and Summer Rae continued to yet again interrupt the Miz, and then the Miz finally had enough, and he then decks Fandango. He then beats up Fandango. Says, yeah, I've had enough of this. Now we come to the main event for the WWE Championship. As the WWE Champion, John Cena challenges Daniel Bryan, because Cena got to pick his own opponent for SummerSlam, and Triple H is the special guest referee. Now, in the weeks leading up to this match, Vince McMahon made it very clear he didn't want Cena as WWE Champion. Neither did he want Daniel Bryan as champion, because Daniel Bryan looked like a dwarf because of his long, bushy beard. Vince, in the meantime, attempted to have Daniel shave his beard. Yes, we've seen Daniel clean-shaven before, long before his days with the beard. But Daniel said no. He beat up Wade Barrett, who had a barber's chair and was about to cut Daniel's beard off. Then Brad Maddox on Raw refereed a match between Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan, in which Barrett won via fast count by Brad Maddox. And right before Brad Maddox could be made the special guest referee, Triple H pedigreed Brad Maddox on Raw, and then put himself in the position to become the special guest referee. And now to the Bryan and Cena match. This match was amazing. This was an amazing wrestling match. Now, Daniel Bryan for weeks had said that Cena was a parody of wrestling. Cena says, "I'm no parody, I'm legit. I may not have been an indie guy, but I've been here since day damn one." And Cena was right. He had been there since day one. And it was an amazing encounter between the two. Yeah, they had an encounter early on in their careers on an episode of Velocity, but many years later, they put on an amazing match with this caliber. The crowd was all behind Daniel. They were rallying behind Daniel Bryan. Cena had his fan section too, but it was mainly Daniel Bryan, as LA was mainly a Daniel Bryan-centric crowd. Daniel Bryan hits the running knee, the Busaiku knee, gets the 1, 2, 3, and he is the new WWE Champion. And Cena then presents Daniel with the WWE Championship. He then has a moment of respect for Daniel with Daniel. And then the confetti was raining down. Daniel was celebrating. Then out comes Randy Orton's music. Randy Orton comes out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Then, amidst all the chaos, Triple H pedigrees Daniel Bryan. He turns on Daniel Bryan, pedigrees Daniel Bryan. Then Randy Orton cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Then 1, 2, 3, Randy Orton is the new WWE Champion. Just like that, we had a Money in the Bank cash-in. And this is not going to be the first time I talk about a cash-in that happened on a pay-per-view. No, far from it. Anyway, this has been your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I will see my wrestling faithful in September for Unforgiven 2002. See ya!